Okay, so in our last video, I just want to take a little bit of time to look at some of the architecture of the Byzantines, in particular the greatest achievement, perhaps, of Justinian, which was the creation of the Hagia Sophia. So real quick look here, just a sec. Okay, so a lot of Byzantine architecture is Christian architecture too, because it has to do with building up churches and whatnot. Those seem to be the most important buildings. And both of those draw on the Roman basilica. So the basilica is basically this really long hallway with a lot of columns and arches going overhead. And that's basically the start of the church. They take that and they add some flanks on it and make it more of the shape of a cross, and that becomes the sort of early basilica type of church. And then the Hagia Sophia draws on that even further and uses Roman skills at things like arches and domes as well. So this is what it looks like from the outside. And it means sacred wisdom. So it's associated a bit with Mary, a bit with kind of the wisdom of God, and some of the saints. It's a pretty cool building. The towers were not originally there. Those are, you might remember from yesterday, minarets. Minarets were added by the Turks because briefly the Hagia Sophia was a mosque when they took it over. Nowadays, it's really more of a museum than anything, but it's in Istanbul, which was formerly Constantinople for the Greeks. For the Byzantines, I should say. But I think we can actually get an even better look at it if we go into Minecraft. So the guys who built Minecraft Rome, they did the Hagia Sophia as a side project, which is a pretty impressive type of side project. The textures aren't all perfect here, but let's take a look at this version of it. So yeah, as you can see, no minarets. This is what it would have looked like in the Byzantine time period. So yeah, you can see there's a big dome out there, and there's the use of sort of half domes along the sides here to give it more structure and whatnot. There's also a little tomb of a saint, I think, out here. And we've got this courtyard in front, which I can't remember if the courtyard is still there in the modern day. But if we go back, we have the opportunity to go inside. So let's go inside. Let's take a look. We have this interior, arches over the head. This is known as vaulting. This technique to sort of give these big upward spaces using vaults and arches. Same here, and now we're going into another corridor, and then once we go through here, we will be in the main area of the building. And yeah, this is what it looks like. It's pretty impressive. The huge domes lead to this really impressive look, and of course we've got the columns all along the way, inherited from the basilica. Images of saints, images of archangels along there, and at the top originally would have been an image of Jesus. It's covered up today by some beautiful Arabic calligraphy from when it was a mosque. But the other things, the angels and the image of Mary, those have been uncovered. Yeah, back here we've got Mary and the baby Jesus. And then this would have been sort of a special chamber for the patriarch, the religious leader to be. Not quite the Pope, but a similar kind of concept. Yeah, here's a close-up on the image of Mother Mary. I like the way they did that. So we are flying around in here. You can see there's multiple stories. And in general, just a very cool, very impressive building with the balconies here. And then we can take advantage of our ability to fly to go all the way up into the dome here. The image of Jesus looking down on the world, beholding it, judging who's good, who's evil, and whatnot. That's what it would have originally been, the dome. So yeah, look at that. That's pretty darn cool. And just the size of it is really impressive. Go all the way back down to the ground, you know. We are quite far down, and there's quite a lot going on overhead, all to sort of indicate the beauty and the splendor of God. And I have some pictures of the real version too here, actually. So if we look here, this is an image of the modern version. Yeah, looking pretty much right. Originally, the archangels and the paintings were covered up, but they were revealed when we entered the more modern era. And we had these sort of calligraphies hanging right here, but now they've been sort of put out so you can see both the archangels and the calligraphy prayers. And yeah, this is a little bit blurry, but gives you an idea of what it looks like in real life using those gold and silver colors there. There's those tiny people down there. There's some random stranger at the balcony there, getting a picture taken. And yeah, this is what the dome looks like today. So like I said, they've got calligraphy up there at the top of the dome. But we think underneath it is probably an image of Jesus. But they didn't want to destroy the beautiful calligraphy, so they left that part. And yeah, this is an image of what the kind of vaults look like. You get a better sense of them. We've got some beautiful mosaics. These are all just like tiny stone tiles, but they make a beautiful picture. This one was originally of Mary, Jesus, and Joseph. And you can see the sort of later Greek writing that would have been common in the Byzantine period. This being an abbreviation for Jesus Jesus and then Christ. And Mary, the Mother of God. And I think this is Joseph over here. And you also have images of Jesus with Justinian and Theodora. Oh, how about that? You know, it makes sense. They want to commemorate them as the patrons of religion. So they are saints. They are holy. They are working with Jesus. That's pretty cool. But yeah, then we've got this view of like the whole sweep of it there, all the half domes in the dome. And interestingly, another mosque, a mosque built in the city much later, once the Turks took over, seems to be really inspired by the same design. It has the same columns and the same use of these sort of arches or vaults here. This is the Blue Mosque, which is like right across from the Hagia Sophia. So it's sort of a mix of architectural styles because it also has the sort of stripes and patterns and calligraphy that we see in places like the Great Mosque at Cordoba. So yeah, just a quick little look at that. It's one of Justinian's greatest achievements and probably his most lasting achievement. It stayed up till it has stayed up for 1,500 years. The dome fell in once pretty early on, but they fixed it relatively quickly. And he hired a bunch of math teachers, actually, from his empire to design the whole thing, because those were the type of people who knew about how to calculate all the angles of everything. So it was one of the biggest buildings in the world, and it still is pretty impressive. And it has lasted for all this time till today. Okay, so I will see you guys in the discussions.